Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a Wednesday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill, Casey Gaines, Taylor Sharp with you on the ones and twos. Mr. Hill, how we doing?
I was freezing cold when I let my dogs out this morning, but I remember my Yankees are in the ALCS, so I'm just feeling great right now.
How's the Lakers doing?
Wait, what team you're talking about again?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see that. I was watching the Yankees. I know what you're talking about.
LeBron and Westbrook, Pat Bev.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't
Shooting it from deep last night. I was at Plucker Sports Trivia. The boys were filling it up.
1 for 15 to start the game from
Solid.
That's great. That's amazing.
Pels tonight. We will talk a little Pels in the 30 minutes with David Grubb, who covers the Pels. He's going to do some Saints and Pels stuff with us here moving forward. Excited to have David on. JD PicKell coming up in 15 minutes from On 3 with our look around the country and in the SEC at college football. Got some updated Heisman odds for you later in this hour. Some NFL contender pretender. LSU basketball media day over in Birmingham. And, of course, it is Wednesday, so at 2:30 we will give you our SEC power rankings. Big shakeup. I, at one point, was going through my power rankings for the SEC, and I got to a chunk of 7 teams and couldn't make a move. That is how scrambled I think the middle of the conference is, but we'll talk about that in hour number 2. Start with Brian Kelly and his updates from the SEC teleconference. I wouldn't call anything super informative, but just some thoughts on what he gave. And, Jeremy, I'll get your comments on them. Jack Besh, quote-unquote, was out there practicing yesterday, so we'll see if Jack can go on Saturday. Armani Goodwin did also practice yesterday, and Brian Kelly said they would just kind of see how he felt. Look, you got a bye week coming, so I realize you want to win every game, and those guys are important pieces to your team, but it is also attractive to look at the bye week and go, well, didn't play this week, and if you're kind of back counting to yesterday, 3 additional weeks to get ready, that seems like it is one that would make a lot of sense, and certainly does for Major Burns, who has worked some scout team for LSU, but he is on track for Alabama, as Brian Kelly said. So those were the significant injury reports as of today.
Yeah, definitely. Just seems like Besh this season just been battling the injury bug since training camp and fall camp, and just hadn't been that full healthy version of himself that we kind of saw from his freshman year. So I think for right now, it's the best thing for him to kind of take his time, get back in this receiving corps, especially this version of JD5. I think he could definitely use a guy like Jack Besh in the slot, but I think Major Burns is a low-key underrated player for this defense, especially early on in the season. Just you weren't seeing those big plays over the top with the safeties kind of getting burned deep, and obviously we know about that missed tackle against Mississippi State, but other than that, I think he's been playing just phenomenal football all season for the Tigers. So I think in that Alabama game, that's definitely a piece when you're thinking about Bryce Young and that passing attack. That's definitely a piece you could definitely use getting back.
Had a fair amount of depth in the secondary, and when Burns goes down, Fouché was ready to go, so off the 4-gamer, so he could come in, and you've had Brooks out there, and we know Jay Ward's played, so you were okay there. And then especially, obviously, a receiver, you got loads of depth. But as you were saying, like you see Jaden Daniels kind of emerge against Florida, and you're Jack Besh, you're going, well, all right, I need to get out there with this now. Like, this is a lot better. And you know that Jack wants to play based on the muffed punt and then coming out of the game. It's just not the way he would have imagined his sophomore season going. As a freshman, he was so productive, so consistent, made some big plays, was a really big piece of what they were trying to do with a lot of injuries on the wide receiving core. And you figure as a sophomore, it's time to kind of take a leadership role. He goes to SEC Media Days. He's kind of a focal piece to what they were doing. He gets hurt before fall camp, sits out a little bit early, and it just hasn't gotten on track for him. And you know he can produce and wants to, but it's just frustrating at this point.
Yeah, it's super frustrating. I think anytime you're the second leading receiver behind Kayshawn as a freshman, that's extremely impressive. And we know just the kind of the worker that Jack is. He's got to go in that building every single day and work his tail off. And I'm sure when he, committed to LSU, he probably didn't think he was going to be the kick returner or the punt returner, but next man up, and he was ready to go take that charge as well and do that. So you can only, wish healthiness back on him and try to get him back in this lineup because – I know the pass catcher that he is, and if you give him targets, he's going to catch those balls. So hopefully he can get back healthy as soon as possible.
And the other thing that I pulled from the teleconference today was I love when coaches – it usually happens for baseball guys, but Will Wade was really good about it as well. And sometimes you get it on the football side, but not as often. You get a stat that I wouldn't know how to look this up. I think Hester may have it on Pro Football Focus or something. Like I don't know how to look this up, but Brian, or I guess you could go back and look at every play of every game, which would take a substantial amount of time. Brian Thomas and Jeray Jenkins are the team leaders in targets to receptions. Both of them are catching about 80% of the balls headed their way. And, there are plenty of 4-star players that show up in Baton Rouge that get buried on the depth chart and end up not helping. I say this all the time on signing day, like, yeah, it looks great that you sign these 25 guys, but half of them are never really going to help. That's really the reality of the situation in college football. And with Brian Thomas, he comes in, and you look around and you go, well, this is a wide receiver room with Kayshon Boutte and with Jack Besh. He comes into the class with Jack Besh and Chris Hilton and Deion Smith, and Jeray Jenkins is already there, and you've got Kayshon Boutte. Like, it's just a really crowded room to try to break into. Trey Palmer's there, and all of a sudden, you look at him and go, well, I think he's pretty talented. The tape's really good. And you go out to practice, and he's making, like, jumping catches in the end zone. It looks pretty salty, but it's like, I wonder if it's ever going to, if he's going to materialize, or maybe he'll be one of those guys that kind of gets pushed aside. And it's really been good over the last month to see him make some plays after the catch, to go up and make big plays in the Florida game the way that he did. And now, instead of is he ever going to break through, you're thinking, man, this guy's a force on this team, and certainly next year is going to be a big piece to what they do on offense. It's been an emergence for him that wasn't necessarily there last year in his first year on campus.
Yeah, I mean, you and I saw it firsthand. Like, we went out there and you're like, wait, that guy's has a little different. He's a little different from these other guys. It wasn't like he wasn't running a 4.25 or anything like that, but you could just tell he was a playmaker. And those type of guys, it's hard to keep those guys off the field, and it's hard to show, their ability from Saturday perspective. And I thought, the more reps he got, obviously the more confidence he got out there. And I think now he's definitely a staple in this receiving core. Like, I think him and Jaden's, their rapport between each other is really probably the highest on the team that I've seen all season. And I think that's something you're going to continue to see. And I think, going towards next year, I think he's definitely going to be the #1 receiver, and a guy that, can easily go over 1,000 yards and kind of have one of those big-time receiver seasons we've seen in LSU history. So I'm excited for him, especially I'm going to keep talking about this version of JD5. I think you can kind of just
That's the story. I mean, that'll be the first thing we talk about on Monday. And what we talk about post-game on our show and y'all's, we'll know. I mean, we won't know, but you could make a huge step this week if he throws for 325 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what everyone's kind of saying. Like, yeah, he did it for one game, but can we see it again? And that's a great point, especially when you kind of look at that Tennessee game. You look at that second half of that Auburn game. It's like, okay, this is the version that you can see that Coach Kelly probably saw at practice. They saw during fall camp, and, like, they need to get this version out of him. If he can continue to, replicate that and do it again in a big-time Saturday game against a ranked opponent, then now the future starts getting, now the sunshine and rainbow starts getting pumped a lot harder than we've kind of seen in recent memory. So, yeah, I'm excited for Jay. Now, I think he's kind of, really taking control of this offense. He looks a lot more comfortable back there. And obviously we know he's not going to turn the ball over. If you mix all those things together, you could really have a dangerous passing attack.
It changed the discussion on Saturday from, he's safe with the ball. I'm hand up. I said, like, how bad would it have to go for them to try to go to Nussmeier to get the ball down the field? Like, that, it changes the discussion from that to, wow, look at the ceiling on this guy. If he can go on the road in the swamp, Florida, bad defense or not, it's on the road in a hostile SEC environment, throw for over 300, not turn the ball over, thanks to a little bit of roughing passer call, and he's beating linebackers and defensive ends to the corner for touchdown runs. Like, this becomes a whole new dimension of what they can do on offense, and Garrett Nussmeier can't do that, and Miles Brennan couldn't do that, and Walker Howard doesn't have that. They can't outrun Florida edge defenders to the pylon. Like, that's not in their game. So all of a sudden, again, it goes from safe guy, a lot of starts to, whoa, look what he actually can do.
Yeah, no, it literally happened overnight because, you've kind of seen sprinkles of it. You saw that, the deep pass to Malik in that Mississippi State game. You kind of saw him try to take a deep shot to Kayshon in that Florida State game, but really doing it for a game and making big-time throws, you just haven't seen it. And to me, he was doing what I've kind of been asking to do, on time, on target. And, that ball to Cole Taylor, that was an NFL type of throw, just fitting the ball in there as soon as he turns his head around and he's not waiting until someone's wide open. Those are the kind of things you expect from a quarterback that's been in college football for 4 seasons. It seems like he's kind of gotten a hold of this offense. And if you have a guy that can use the legs to the level that JD5 can and also not turn it over, you're going to score a lot of points and really be moving up and down the field, especially if you can get the run game going too. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how they perform on Saturday because that's I think, going to be the real answer to see, like, was that a fluke against Florida's bad defense, or is this the kind of version we're going to see from him going forward?
It's the storylines have been fairly predictable in terms of, what we're probably going to be talking about next. And, could they get better from Florida State to Mississippi State? And then they did. And then, you don't look very good on the plains at Auburn, and then you feel like you got a reasonable chance against Tennessee at home, and you play very poorly. Like, well, this team's still got a lot of lumps to take, and then you go to Florida and you do what you do, and the roller coaster continues to go up and down for this LSU team. Hopefully stays chinning up here on Saturday as LSU welcomes in Ole Miss for a 2:30 kickoff. Opening hour on a Wednesday, always brought to you by Sunshine Quality Solutions. Find the website at sunequip.com, your hometown John Deere dealer, serving southern Louisiana and Mississippi. You can go to the website, sunequip.com, check out new equipment, used equipment. They got parts, service, and specials as well at Sunshine Quality Solutions. You can find them on Airline Highway here in Baton Rouge. Take a time out, come back with JD PicKell of 1-3 Sports. That's next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Reliable Roofing and Construction, ReliableRoofingBR.com.
So happy to tell you guys about Reliable Roofing, a family-run, owned, and operated residential roofing company. They've been in business since 2008 with over 30 years of roofing experience.
In business since 2008, but Lionel Hayes has lived here his entire life, and he is a Baton Rouge native resident and has his business here serving the Baton Rouge community. If you choose Reliable Roofing and Construction for your roofing needs, whether that's an inspection, a repair, or a replacement, whatever it may be, you're going to get a 5-year labor warranty. You're going to see Lionel Hayes show up at that job site to look at his staff and the work that they have done. You're going to get the highest quality of shingles, the best selection of shingles, and, again, that 5-year labor warranty comes with it. And this month, $1,000 off. No catch. They're doing their part for Breast Cancer Awareness Month here in October. $1,000 off if you call them here in the next 11 days. Great partner here at Hunt and Hill. We appreciate Reliable Roofing and Construction. Check out the website, ReliableRoofingBR.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside off the bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah!
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
On Thursday's OTB. How did the Pels fare in their trip to Brooklyn? Also, we'll continue to break down LSU Ole Miss. Plus, get you ready for a little Saints Cardinals off the bench. 104.5 ESPN.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back-to-back guests here in the opening hour, brought to you by Sunshine Quality Solutions. Going to head out to the phone line now, chat with our guy, JD PicKell of On3 Sports. JD, how we doing, bud?
Doing phenomenal, fellas. How are y'all doing?
Doing very well. I said on Thursday when we were recapping the SEC action that I try not to use hyperbole because I think it cheapens what you say when you actually mean something. That was one of the best games in the history of the SEC, in my opinion, when you combine all the factors that go into it in Knoxville on Saturday. Your thoughts on what we watched?
I mean, I think what you said was on the money. It was one of the best games that we've seen from this sport in I don't know how. And that's not to talk down on college football. Like, that was just one of the moments and one of those scenes and atmospheres that reminds you, like, man, college football is just so special, and it's so different than anything else that we get as sports fans. So, I mean, in terms of the game itself, I mean, Bama's got some problems. I'm sure we're going to talk about that at a little more length here, you know, throughout the rest of the college football season. But Bama's got some issues. And the interesting thing to me is nationally, just like, you know, regardless of whether you were in Sioux Falls, Dakota, or whether you were in Atlanta, Georgia, like, there was some sort of sense that Alabama was weak. And we had our national, you know, kind of like preview across the country. We're picking, you know, the games of the week, and we go live at like 3 Central. So I picked Tennessee, and I was like, man, that doesn't feel good. You know, we're probably going to be one of the only people that takes Tennessee. And then, you know, slowly but surely, you see Fox pick them. You see most of the game day desk pick them. And so that was just intriguing because so many people saw this coming, and then so many people were right about Tennessee. I think bettors across the country, I mean, Vegas took a huge hit because of Tennessee money line and Tennessee plus 7.5. So I'm intrigued to see what we see from Bama the rest of the year, and then Tennessee is just going to be a force, and November 5th can't get here quick enough.
I mean, if those of us that have been watching Alabama this closely through the Saban era, that's the recipe. A little tempo and a great quarterback is what you've got to have way more often than not to beat them if you go back to the losses in Bama history. So did the way you feel about Tennessee and this team change on Saturday?
You know, I think more than anything, it just validated so much of what we had already kind of been accustomed to seeing, because they did it against teams like LSU, who's, you know, going to be better in years to come, and they're not probably where they're going to be, you know, this year super elite. They did it against, you know, I'm trying to think who else they'd even played well against.
Pittsburgh, Florida.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Yeah, Florida. Exactly. Take the words out of my mouth. Yeah, so, I mean, we had seen it to that degree, but for them to slay the Dragon in Neyland, like, I think that just kind of put everybody on notice that, all right, Tennessee in the 2022 season, you just want to put that in the silo. You know, they're one of the top-tier programs in the country, and we're going to have to deal with them when it comes to this college football playoff picture because they're very much in that hunt.
Speaking of that, do you think there's a world of Tennessee loses to Georgia and doesn't win the SEC championship that they may get a 4-spot bid in the college football playoff?
Yeah, that's going to be – I mean, I do not envy the committee if that's the situation we end up getting. If it does end up being, you know, like those 3 one-loss, just huge programs. I can say this. I think there would be riots across the country. All the people that are already kind of annoyed with the SEC that like to kind of talk down on that conference. If they get 3 SEC programs into the playoff, there will be a lot of chaos. The answer to that is probably not. Like, I just have a feeling that, you know, the Big Ten will put somebody forth that's, you know, a 1-loss champion, and, you know, maybe the ACC with Clemson gets an undefeated. Like, I think there's just enough things that will go against that scenario. But if there's a 2-loss champion like we saw last year in the Big 12, if we see that across a couple other places, then I think that would be what has to happen. But if I were to bet money today, I would probably bet against that scenario being the case.
You said Bama's got issues. What are they most pronounced?
Yeah, I mean, how long do y'all have? I mean, we do this segment for a little bit typically. There's 3 big ones for me. The first of which is the most glaring, which is penalties, right? Like, Nick Saban teams are a little more disciplined than what we've been accustomed to seeing from them. They gave up over 100 yards of penalties this last week. The offensive line, you're not going to see it so much on the stat sheet. Like, they're not giving up a ton of stats, but how many times have we seen a Bama quarterback take the hits that Bryce Young took on Saturday? And some of that, is due to just the way that he plays, with how much he brings with the mobility standpoint and how much he is able to extend plays. But, I mean, he was taking hits that we haven't seen anybody in an Alabama Crimson Tide jersey take in a whole long time playing quarterback. The third thing for me is probably the most troublesome is the secondary. And, again, not so much a statistics thing we'll look at and say, wow, they got issues. But if you turn on the tape, like, they're just tugging, grabbing, harassing. I mean, you name it. When that ball's in the air, they seem to have a really difficult time getting their head around it and playing that football. I mean, Terrion Arnold's been probably, the best corner for them at this point in the year, and he's a young buck. I mean, Kool-Aid McKinstry is in his second year, and we've seen issues across the board, especially when they get those big body receivers. I mean, Brew McCoy set up the field goal. So the secondary is a thing that I don't know that you can expedite. Like, all the other things feel fixable to me. You can add more guys in for pass pro. You can run a whole lot of gassers and do a whole lot of conditioning punishment to sort of, make you a little bit more on the ball when it comes to some of those penalties. But the secondary is a thing that I think you're just kind of going to have to wait on from an experience standpoint. And I don't know if that'll be something that gets shored up, in November or not. But they better hope it does, because that's going to be the Achilles heel going forward.
Check out the On3 Sports YouTube channel. JD PicKell with the Hard Count joins us every single Wednesday here on Hunt and Hill. All right, let's go up to the Big Ten before we come back to the SEC for this coming weekend. Did Michigan make a statement there, or is Penn State maybe not what their record said they were?
How about it, huh?
Yeah.
How about the maize and blue? I mean, that was as impressive of a win as I've seen in a minute there from Michigan. I think the biggest thing that I took away from that is J.J. McCarthy is, still getting his sea legs. He's probably going to play his best football later in this year, and probably his best football will be, obviously in the years to come. But while they're waiting on him, while they're waiting on his potential to kind of cash in, they can still play the brand of football they played a year ago. Like, the old formula that they played a year ago works. Like, they just did bully ball to Penn State on Saturday. I mean, over 400 yards of rushing, played really solid defensively. And that's what we came to expect from them last year with Cade McNamara at quarterback. They didn't ask too much of him. Now, the difference is you kind of have that silver bullet, or the ace in the hole, if you will, when J.J. McCarthy does kind of put it together and they can uncork the ball downfield a little bit more. But, for Michigan to be as dominant as they were against a team like Penn State, who we expected to at least give them a little bit of a game, that was, in very much every sense of the word, a statement by Michigan that we're going to have to talk about them when it comes to this playoff picture.
Anytime you lose a quarterback like Matt Corral, you figure the passing game's going to take a step back. But talk about the job Lane Kiffin's done with that offense, getting their run game going this season.
Oh, I mean, they're top 5 in the country in terms of how much they want to run the football. Like 65% of the time they're handing it to Judkins or they're handing it to Evans. And I'm just curious to see in this game how much they ask of Jackson Dart, because you're right. Lane Kiffin's done a phenomenal job. There was a lot of thoughts about, hey, was Jeff Lebby kind of the one that made that offense go? And so credit to Lane Kiffin and the job he's done this year, being able to kind of reinvent that Ole Miss approach. So Jackson Dart, I think, is still extremely talented and has it under the hood, but just getting comfortable in that system, it sounds like at least it's still kind of the key ingredient. But no, I mean, for them to score as much as they have and to win the way they have, you can't say enough good things about Ole Miss, and have a really good test, obviously, coming to Death Valley this coming Saturday.
The discussion down here, obviously, is how much of what Jaden Daniels in the passing game did in Gainesville is a flash in the pan, or how much it's it unlocking the key to this offense for the second half of the season. Where do you see it?
Yeah, that is $1 million question. Is, how real is this? Like, are we going steady, or is this kind of just a good date? No, I mean, I think when you look at it, the run game was really impressive. I don't know if that'll be there week in and week out. and Josh Williams running for over 100 yards, I think is really like you said, the key that kind of ignited the whole vehicle. One other thing, though, that I was encouraged by was seeing what Jaden Daniels did when the play broke down. Like, so frequently we're used to seeing 5, tuck it, run, and get positive yardage, right? Like, get 7 yards here, get us on schedule, keep us ahead of the sticks. But what we saw from him against Florida was, hey, play breaks down, get flushed out, eyes downfield, find Kayshon Boutte, find Malik Neighbors, find whoever it is, whoever you want to insert into that, blank there, which you probably would like it to be Kayshon Boutte with how talented he is. I think that could be the next step this offense can take, is going the extra mile when that play breaks down. Because, I mean, God bless them in Baton Rouge, playing there's 6 different units as the offensive line. I mean, just been musical chairs, pick a name out of a hat, and they're probably starting this week on the offensive line for the Tigers. So if he can continue to do well when the play breaks down and extending plays, I think they're going to have a chance to do some good things. So the run game won't be as consistent, in my humble opinion, but week to week they're going to have a shot to be competitive if he can do that.
This LSU rush defense is ranked 47th in the country right now in yards allowed a game. How do you think that Ole Miss rushing attack stacks up against them?
Yeah, it's going to be crucial. It's going to be crucial. I think the 1-2 punch of Evans and Judkins is lethal, and how they stack up, I think you hit it on the head. It'll kind of be unstoppable force meets immovable object. I do like the idea of it doesn't have to be the entirety of the game. Like, I don't know that you need to totally just stop Ole Miss from running the ball, but I think situationally, if they can force some passing downs and put the game a little bit more on Jackson Dart's shoulders, especially in crunch time, I think that's kind of the way you want to live if you're LSU, because we've seen from Jackson Dart when the Ole Miss offense has issues, or rather when Ole Miss has tight games, is when he has a higher attempts number. And he's done fine, but a lot of those games where he's throwing 29 attempts against Kentucky, I think he had 32 attempts against Vanderbilt. There's some interceptions that are tied along with those attempts. So to answer your question, I think they stack up well, but situationally, if they can force it to be on Dart, that's probably the reality you'd like to have when you're watching the tape back on Sunday and Monday.
Not a ton of landmines in the ACC for Clemson, but Syracuse is coming to Death Valley to play Clemson. 13.5 is the number on that one. Can Syracuse put a scare into Clemson?
I don't think so. I don't think so. And we're going to hear a whole lot about this because I don't know where either of you gentlemen went to school specifically, or if you have any Syracuse ties, but everybody that can hold a camera and likes to call themselves a journalist went to Syracuse apparently. Yep. So we're going to hear a lot about that nationally, which is great. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they'll get their shine. I'm sure it'll be fun. I did not go to Syracuse, so we don't have any bias here. But when it comes to that game, I think Clemson's just going to run away with it. I think they're going to make a statement. Week in and week out, there's always been the question of, can Clemson pass this test? Can they beat Wake? Okay, they beat Wake. Can they beat a good defense at NC State? And I think the challenge that Dabo Swinney put before his team with how they finished the game against Florida State, and just they're still a ranked Syracuse team. They're still going to have kind of the attention of this Clemson program. I think that this last hurdle, in my mind at least, for Clemson in ACC play will be passed with flying colors. So I'm excited to see what they do, but the fact that it's in Death Valley is a crucial variable. If it's played in upstate New York and in the Carrier Dome, maybe there's a little bit more life or a little more optimism for me around the Orange. But I mean, I think Clemson takes care of business and handles this one pretty effectively. So I'm taking that 13.5, boys. If we're making money here, that's on my list.
Love it, JD. He's host of the Hard Count on the On3 YouTube channel. Joins us every Wednesday. Thanks for your time, man. We'll do it next week.
Absolutely. Can't wait. Thanks, guys.
He is JD PicKell. Love to go kind of around the country with him. There's one more there, but I didn't feel like we had quite time to get to it, because we've got to get to our next guest here, David Grubb. But UCLA and Oregon's this week. Nobody around here wants to give UCLA a ton of credit, probably myself included, because I'm just embarrassed about how that game went last year. But they go to Autzen and win. Like, you got to start taking it real serious. Real serious.
No, yeah, you definitely do. And I think that's a team,
and that's Bo Nix up there playing quarterback. It ain't like it's,
Yeah, I mean, we saw
world
them,
beater.
Yeah, we saw them in that season opener. It didn't look too. I know it's Georgia, but still, that was just bad. But yeah, man, I know I said no shot to make the playoff, but you get that one on the road. I think you definitely got to start. Maybe the Pac-12. I don't know if I'll ever see it, but hey, if they keep winning, who knows what happens.
David Grubb is host of The Heart in the Paint, and he also writes for Pelican Scoop as well. We're going to talk a little Saints with David and the Pelicans opener as well. That's next. It's Hunt and Hill.
Holding down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Ford, check out that inventory, new and used, at BayouFord.com. If you're looking for an F-150, F-250, Explorer, Expedition, they got you covered over there at Bayou Ford, and it's all right there on the website. The website updates as the inventory moves in and out. It's fluid over there. If you find something you like, check out the information on it. You got your pricing, got all the bells and whistles, all the features, got all the Carfax. It's all right there for you at your fingertips. If you see what you like, call Ben Gagne and the crew down there and let them know that that's what you want. If you don't see what you want, don't settle. You can absolutely just customize your own vehicle so that you're driving exactly what you want. They've also, over at Bayou Ford, got a great buyback program. So if you're not thrilled with your car or you're just looking for something new, they'll buy your car from you right there at Bayou Ford.
Yeah, head over to BayouFord.com. They have the all-new 2022 Ford Expedition Timberline, tinted windows, ready to lift 3 kit on there. Also, all-new 2021 Ford F-150s. They're getting $14,000 off MSRP, including the Black Widow edition.
Got to love it. Bayou Ford, check out the inventory, BayouFord.com. Bayou Ford, they're going to do right by you.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1.
NFL is back. Our coverage starts Sunday at 10 a.m. with Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday with Jimmy Ott, immediately followed by the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts at noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
NBA season got kick-started last night. I was at Pluckers doing sports trivia, watched the Warriors get their rings. Pretty cool ring ceremony for them. Never been any rings awarded for the New Orleans basketball franchise, but they hope they are headed that direction, and they will tip off their season tonight. David Grubb follows the Pelicans very closely, hard in the paint, also writes for Pelicans Scoop. He joins us now on the phone line. David, thanks so much for your time. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and this is my favorite time of year, so thank you guys for having me, and let's talk some basketball.
Absolutely. We'll talk a little basketball. May throw a Saints question there at the end as well. I know you follow the black and gold pretty closely, but let's start with the Pels. I'm curious, the Saints don't have to worry about fan interest or support. It's there. I feel like has to grow a little bit in New Orleans on the basketball side for the Pelicans. Where do you think that city is in welcoming this team in this era that we're about to start on here?
Well, I think this New Orleans is a basketball town, and I think it had to find its way back. This is a city that had a tremendous basketball history, and I'm not, people say the Jazz failed, but we go back to the early 1990s, and you're talking about a place that was a basketball hotbed where you were producing consistent high school All-Americans. You had quality college programs in the city. It's just unfortunate that the Pelicans' history has been marred by some bad leadership, and some bad teams, quite frankly. You've never had, I think only once in the history of the franchise have they made the playoffs in consecutive seasons in the last 22 years. That's really hard. But if we go back in Saints history and don't look back too far, there was a time when you had to give away Saints tickets to make sure that there was a sellout on Sunday evening, or that Energy had to buy them up. But once you start to get that consistency when the Jim Mora era started, then the Superdome became one of the most difficult places to play. I think now you're starting to see that with the Pelicans. You have a team that fans can identify with and that has embraced the city. And that growth in the fan base, in particular the last year and a half, has been exciting and really really rewarding to watch as somebody who's pushed New Orleans as a basketball city for a number of years.
I kind of reject the notion that it has to be someone's team. I think you can just be a great team with multiple really, really good players. The Pelicans have a lot of really, really good players. And you look at the veterans, C.J. McCollum, B.I., who kind of emerged last year in the playoffs, and then, of course, Zion, number 1 overall pick. Whose team is it?
I believe it is Brandon Ingram's team in the sense that he earned that last year. His growth as an individual, and I like to use this term, Brandon Ingram went from statistical all-star to legitimate all-star last season. And by being the guy who assumed the tough shots, who created plays for others. And I think what you have is guys who play 3 different roles here. Brandon Ingram is the spiritual, I think, and an on-court leader of this team. CJ is the older veteran who keeps everybody in place and it has the experience and the know-how to kind of shepherd this young group. And then Zion is that explosive talent that can supernova and take you to that level. But those are roles. And like you said, it's not necessarily one person having to carry a team. That's just not possible. But in every team, there has to be a clear voice, and there has to be somebody that in those huddle situations, in those late situations in a game, that you look to and can depend on. And I think right now, the guy who has the most equity in the building is Brandon Ingram.
What would you say the excitement level is for Pels fan when you think about this team who made the play-in last year without Zion, and then just looking at how bad my Lakers were last night and potentially getting a top 5 pick? Oh, my goodness.
Well, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves and put too many carts in front of an 82-game. I don't think the Lakers will make the playoffs. So, yeah, the Pelicans will likely get another lottery pick there. But let's look over these 82 games, and you have to be really excited that for the first time in a long time, you feel like the Pelicans should be secure in a top 6 seed in the West. I think if they are fully healthy, they have a chance to earn a top 4 spot. But more likely, making these jumps in the NBA is very difficult. And the Western Conference is incredibly stacked. But I think if the Pelicans are legitimately in the top 6 and they avoid the play-in and, get into that section with the elite teams in the West, I believe they can do damage. Win a first-round series, compete very well in a second-round series, and give themselves an opportunity to maybe even advance to a Western Conference final.
David Grubb is with the Heart in the Paint with David Grubb, also writes for Pelican Scoop, joining us here on Hunt and Hill. The Zion drama, it's been kind of ongoing with the injuries and all that kind of stuff. He's saying all the right stuff and looks the part right now. Obviously, a little bit of an issue with the injury at the end of the preseason, but where is he mentally, physically, and how does he fit on this team?
Yeah, I had a great conversation with Howard Best of Sports Illustrated, who did the Sports Illustrated coverage story on Zion and that emotional journey he kind of went on last season. And there was doubt inside the building as to whether or not he wanted to come back to the Pelicans, even up to the end of the season. I think that if you had a different coaching staff in place, then maybe he isn't back. But the connections that he was able to make with a guy like Willie Green, who everyone has embraced, but also you give a lot of credit to assistants like Teresa Witherspoon and to Corey Brewer, who really have connected with him. I think that if Stan Van Gundy, and this is not a knock on Stan per se, but it just didn't work with him. If he had been there for another year, maybe we're talking about something else. But Zion certainly looks refreshed. He looks committed physically. I think the main thing is that we're going to see is how much has he matured as an individual, and then that growth for him. But Zion Williamson could fall out of bed and score 25 points. But the key for him to become an elite player in the NBA, to be somebody that we talk about historically, is going to be, does he impact the defensive end of the sport? And that's going to be the thing that I think takes a little bit longer for him. Because remember, we're in year 4 for his career, but he's only played 85 games. So I think there is going to be some kind of resettling with Zion in the beginning of the season, figuring out what matchups work with him. Because, again, as you look at the roster, who besides Brandon Ingram has played significant minutes with him in meaningful games? No one. So it's a feeling out process for everybody. I think it's going to take a little time. The numbers will look good, and I even think the Pelicans can get off to a great start. But I'm really more excited about the last 20 games of the season than I am the first 20, because I think we're going to find out a lot about this team as they become better defensively. Offensively, I think this is one of the best teams in the league, and you have Zion spearheading that. But him on the defensive, how he becomes a difference maker there is going to be the tale of his career.
When you think about teams who constantly make deep playoff runs and potentially become dynasties, you think about them having a great head coach. Where do you think Willie Green stacks up against the rest of the NBA as far as head coaches go?
I think you put Willie Green, and, he's still young, and there are things he's going to have to learn. But I believe he has a chance this year to finish top 5 in the Coach of the Year voting. There are things that look, Jeremy, you played at a high level. You know this. The things you look for in a coach are what? Consistency, communication, respect. You don't always have to get along, but if I know what I'm getting from you and I know what your expectations are from me, then we're going to be all right. And I think that's the main thing that you have with the Pelicans, that everybody from 1 to 15 on that active roster understands exactly what's demanded of them on a daily basis, and they are comfortable in their roles. They're comfortable financially right now. Everybody on there is secured at their contract, and you have a staff that Willie Green has empowered to do its job. So I think Willie has the perfect temperament for this team because it has a lot of youth, but also Willie has the experience and the gravitas to walk into that room, and when he demands something, players listen.
Chatting with David Grubb at DM Grubb with 2 B's on Twitter. All right, David, let's switch gears to the black and gold here briefly. They head out to Arizona coming up today, and they'll play tomorrow night. How close is this season to the brink?
I think this is the brink.
Yeah.
You're fortunate that the Saints are in the NFC South, where no one has run away with this. But the Saints are a team that has a very difficult back end of the schedule. There's really tough games down the stretch. They have to get healthy first and foremost. But there are a lot of holes. I mean, are you happy with the defensive line play? Are you happy with the back end of the secondary? Teron Matthew's been a disappointment this season, in a very big way, unfortunately. The offensive line for the Saints looks great in the run game, but can't protect the pass. There are just so many flaws that I don't know if you can correct them all. They may be able to get to a point where they have a respectable record, but this just doesn't feel like a team that is cohesive, has a sense of purpose, or any urgency. They seem to get out physical consistently, and particularly the tackling. I don't know how you improve tackling in the middle of a season. So I'm really concerned. And then when you just look at this game tomorrow night, Kyler Murray is one of those quarterbacks that's going to give the Pelicans trouble. The Saints trouble because he moved. And then you get DeAndre Hopkins back without Marshawn Lattimore. Yeah, this could be another shootout for the Saints, and that not necessarily is a good thing.
He is David Grubb with Hard in the Paint. Also writes for Pelican Scoop. Check him out on Twitter at DMGrubb. Dave, thanks so much. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Absolutely. I think there is some buzz for the Pels, and look, I hadn't been down there for a game since the pandemic hit. I'm definitely going to go watch a game this year. It's going to be one of the more fun teams to watch in the NBA. And if you were watching Countdown last night and you heard, I think it was Charles Barkley picked the Pelicans as a potential team to come out of the West. I don't know that everybody's quite there, but the fact that anybody's talking about it right now is a little bit fun, and they've got guys that are really fun to watch. And that's me as not a huge NBA fan. I've gone to see Russell Westbrook play with the Thunder. I went and saw Stephen Clay shoot with the Warriors. And now the Pels have some of those guys. Not that AD wasn't, but you want to go see Zion. Brandon Ingram's becoming a star. Like, it'll be a good watch, and hopefully creates a little buzz in the city. We're not going to spend 2 hours a week on it here, but we might spend 15 minutes a week, just kind of going over what they're doing, because I think that it's a fun team.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to ruffle anyone's feathers here, but even Skip Bayless himself, he picked the Pels to represent the Western Conference.
I didn't
bad.
see that.
I don't know if that's bad luck or anything like that, but yeah, a lot of people are jumping on that Pels bandwagon. I'm not going to be that guy. I need my Lakers to get a little pulsy. I think we're dead already, but it's going to be a great time for the city of New Orleans, especially with the way things are going for the Saints. I think it'll be a breath of fresh air for people to get out to the Smoothie King and check out some good basketball.
Heisman odds coming up to finish up our number one power rankings from the Southeastern Conference. 45 minutes from right now. It's a Wednesday edition of Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Start NFL Week 7 off with the no-sweat same-game parlay from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. It doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. You will get free bets back if your Thursday night same-game parlay doesn't hit. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance for an even bigger payday.
Yeah, it's Saints-Cardinals tomorrow. You can bet on the FanDuel sportsbook for the Kamara to score a touchdown at any point. Plus 100. I love this one. Taysom Hill to score a touchdown. Plus 165. Going back $1.65. Kyler Murray to run one in on the Saints. Plus 175. Saints catching 2.5 points if you want to bet it. You can build your own same-game parlay or choose one from the popular same-game parlays pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. However you want to play, you can bet the NFL on Thursday night with a no-sweat same-game parlay. Sign up with the promo code 1045ESPN if you don't already have an account. If you do have an account, you're all set. Just sign in and see what you got. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. 3 legs minimum, $1 bet required. Refund is just a non-withdrawable free bet. It expires 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $5. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you're somebody who knows a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% with 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm JD Cody. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdcody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and...
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. We're turning the page to Saints Cardinals. Mike Triplett will join us. We're headed to Arizona to take a look at the Cardinals. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Opening hour on a Wednesday brought to you by Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check it out, sunequip.com, your local John Deere dealer serving southern Louisiana and Mississippi. Go to the website, sunequip.com. You can check out the new equipment or the used equipment. Also can check out their parts department service as well. Or you can stop on by Airline Highway, Sunshine Quality Solutions, sunequip.com, your local John Deere dealer. Heisman odds are updated, Jeremy, and so I wanted to take a look at that after last week's games, which I thought could sway them strongly. And Hendon Hooker is all the way up to plus 440 at this point, second choice behind C.J. Stroud at plus 100. Caleb Williams' USC squad took it on the chin. They are plus 900. Blake Corum, big game, running back for Michigan. Their offensive line is awesome, and he is running well behind him, plus 1,200. And Bryce Young down to plus 2,000. DJU plus 2,500. And Jameer Gibbs also at plus 2,500. Your thoughts on any and all of those?
Love the Hendon Hooker. I think that's a great one, especially if they beat Georgia. I think you're going to see those odds shift really quick in Hendon's favor because that avenue to winning the Heisman is just going to get so much easier for them. And I think that's the one I'm feeling the most right now. I think for Corum, they're going to have to beat Ohio State, have to win the Big Ten championship. And he's going to have to probably go for 1,700 yards for even him to be in the conversation. But obviously, C.J. Stroud has the best odds because he has the best avenue to do it. He's going to throw for 5,000 yards probably and 40, 50 touchdowns. And they're going to have a really great record by the end of it. So, but I do like the Hendon Hooker one the best for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Hooker at plus 440. By the way, just major kudos. I don't think there was a ton of foresight involved here. How can you know? Major kudos to whoever put UT Martin right behind Alabama on this Tennessee schedule. If they had to go play like at Mississippi State or, at Arkansas or something just kind of sneaky,
yeah.
it'd be trouble, I think. But, I said this a million times in 2019 when everyone said, was this a trap spot? 9 was trap proof. There was no trap spot with 9 back there with Joe Burrow calling the shots. He was going to put up a huge game no matter what. And Hooker may be that guy. We'll see. But nice to play the Skyhawks coming off the win over Alabama. Yeah. You can kind of settle right back in. You can sleepwalk through that one and still win it. I would agree with you. I think Hooker is the best play there. I don't know that I would totally dismiss Bryce Young at plus 2,000, although his avenue is a little bit more difficult now. Not as many headlining games. I think Saturday night in Death Valley in 2 weeks is a pretty big one. But, of course, if LSU loses this one, it's a 3-loss team. Mm-hmm. What does it matter there? So he's a great player. He's awesome. He carried them on Saturday, and those odds are now good for the first time in a long time at plus 2,000. But the avenue for Bryce Young winning it and Stroud and Hooker not is a tough one, barring some sort of injury, I think.
Yeah, no, I think especially looking at that Bama defense, like normally their defense is holding people to under 20. They're putting up a ton of points, and now I don't know how they go through the season without another slip-up. I mean, we saw the A&M game. They're a yard away from losing that one. We saw the Texas game. They won that one by a miracle, and then we just saw that defense give up 52 points with a team that turned it over 2 times. And so with that being said, I don't know if Bryce can do it with 2 losses this season, especially when you look at what Stroud's going to do and you look at potentially what Hooker's going to do. And I think, obviously, Stetson, I don't think he's out of it. I think if they can go and take down Tennessee and he has a big-time game, I think you see him get pumped up the Heisman odds a ton if they take down Tennessee. So Bryce, I do think has the hardest, road to get there. That's why I think the numbers are the way they are set up with him.
Yeah, if you gave me $100, it would go on Hendon Hooker plus the 440. That'll do it for hour number 1 here of Hunt and Hill. You can catch it on demand 1045ESPN.com or on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. If you're in the YouTube chat right now, we appreciate you hanging out. Throw us a like if you would. Heavy on guests in hour number 1. JD PicKell of On 3 Sports talking college football, and David Grubb on the Pels and a little Saints talk as well. So go check all that out on demand. Hour 2 is locked and loaded. LSU basketball hit the podium in Birmingham today. Hear a little bit about what they had to say, plus expected order of finish. SEC power rankings coming at you at 2:30. We'll start things off. NFL talk, contenders and pretenders. Sports Center, then we're back. It's Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you. Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Shop, shop.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shop-a style.
Oh, yeah!
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Alabama's looking into an incident involving receiver Jermaine Burton and a Tennessee female fan on Saturday. A video posted on TikTok showed Burton thrusting his right arm toward the woman's head as she celebrated the Volunteers' upset win after she appeared to dance in front of his path. She could be seen holding her head while looking back at Burton afterward. Coach Nick Saban said he is aware of the situation and is gathering more information. Tonight, Astros and Yankees begin the ALCS, 7 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Houston's been New York's kryptonite in recent Octobers, beat the Yankees in the ALCS in 2017 and 2019, and this time should not be any different, believes ESPN's Jessica Mendoza.
You're talking about the best starters ERA, the best bullpen ERA. You know it comes down to pitching. Yordan Alvarez, we saw the big at-bats from him. They've also won 5 of 7 from the Yankees. Aaron Judge said it there. You could see the look on his face.
Yeah.
It always goes through Houston. They understand that this is their nemesis. You look at the past decade, it is all about Yankees and Astros. They don't get any further because of Houston, and they've owned them.
Jessica Mendoza on Get Up.
Fall into a hiring spree with Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
1, 2, 3. Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hour 2, Hunt and Hill here on a Wednesday. I hope your work week is going well. We are officially on the back half of said work week, counting down to another football weekend. We get your SEC Power Rankings here in 30 minutes. Got some LSU basketball to chat about, SEC basketball as well here in 15 minutes. But we're in football season right in the middle of it, so we'll go football here to lead off hour number 2. Jeremy, last year, we did a segment every single week where we said who can win the Super Bowl. How many teams realistically can win it? And the fact of the matter is that we never had the Bengals involved in it at all. Mm-hmm. And they were a quarter away from winning the Super Bowl, a drive away from winning the Super Bowl. So, understanding that we're fallible here, but that we're going to try for the sake of discussion to come up with the teams that we think can still win the Super Bowl, we'll just impart on that exercise 1/3 of the way through the season. We are 6 weeks through an 18-week regular season. So, I will start with my AFC teams that I believe can win the Super Bowl this year. I've got 2 teams out of the East. I've got the Bills, and I've got the Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins have lost 3 in a row, and 2 have been really bad. But if I can get Tua back, I saw that team play really well the first 3 weeks of the season. I'm not going to write them off just yet. I don't like the Patriots. I don't like what they are. I'm anti-Patriots. So I'll bite the bullet and say I don't like them at all to win it. And you would say, "Why? You're an idiot. Why would you take the Dolphins and not the Patriots at the same record at this point in the season?" That's just the way I feel. Deal with it. AFC North, I believe 2 teams can still win the Super Bowl. The Ravens, who have not looked very good over the last couple of weeks, and the Bengals, who have certainly had their ups and downs as well. Both of those teams are 3-3, but I will say they are still alive in my book. I don't want anybody out of the South. I was high on the Colts early. Ryan does not look great. They don't look like what I thought they would be. I thought that roster was really good and maybe a quarterback away. It doesn't appear that way to me, even though they're 3-2-1. So I'm going to go with nobody out of the South. And I will take both the top two teams in the West, the Chiefs and the Chargers. So for me, Chiefs, Chargers, Ravens, Bengals, Bills, Dolphins. That's where I am out of the AFC. It's dumb not to take the Patriots, but that's where I am.
Yeah, well, I'll throw them in there. I actually do the exact opposite of you. I'm going to leave the Dolphins out, and I'm going to throw the Patriots in there because I'm extremely worried about their quarterback position. I don't think Tua is okay, and I don't think he is going to be okay. I still think if he
That's reasonable.
I think if he gets hit a couple more times, it's you play quarterback. It's just unavoidable. You're going to get hit in the head. You're going to get slammed to the ground. That flag's going to come out 9 times out of 10. Matter of fact, 100%. The flag's going to come out. But he's going to get hit again, and I just don't know if he can make it through the whole season. So I'm going to throw out of the East, I'm going to throw the Patriots and the Bills in there as well. Out of the North, I got to keep the Bengals in there. That's my pick. I know shaky start to the season, but the crazy part, all three of their losses, they could have won all those games. Not like they're getting blown off the field. So got to keep the Ravens
Plus
in there.
28 points differential.
Yeah, of course. And I think for the Ravens, I'm going to leave them in there as well. Just it doesn't look great. It doesn't look great.
Wobbly.
Lamar started out hot, and everyone's like, yeah, he wants his money. And then you kind of saw why they're like, okay, well, let's wait a little bit before we chunk out that chunk of change on Lamar. But I'm going to keep them in there just because of how dynamic Lamar is for the South. I guess I kind of got to put the Colts in there. Just don't love it. I don't love it at all. But I think Matty Ice is starting to play a little bit better than he started the season and getting Jonathan Taylor back rolling. And I think that defense is sneaky good. So gotta keep the Colts in there just because you just got to have a team. We can't sleep on everybody. You know, the Bengals shocked us last year. So I'm going to keep them in there just so safe and sound. All right. In the West, I thought it was just guaranteed to start the season. Like everyone was riding. Like it was just a riding fest going on in every
Let's see if you're riding.
Country. No, I'm not riding.
He's
anything.
not riding.
Not anything to do with the Broncos right now. But I will put the Chiefs and the Chargers in there. And the Raiders just sneakily just not as good as I thought they want to be when they kind of bolstered that pass rush and obviously got a little more dangerous on offense. Not that great.
1-4.
Yeah, just not that great at all. So, yeah, those are my teams. I got the Bengals and the Ravens. I have the Bills and the Patriots. I have the Colts, and then I have the Chiefs and the Chargers.
Yeah, the Raiders have a what appears to be a pretty manageable piece of their schedule here upcoming. They play the Texans at home, then they're at New Orleans, at Jacksonville, and they play the Colts at home, and they're at the Broncos, at the Seahawks. So, you know, it theoretically could get turned around, but I'm not feeling that one. So we'll go to the NFC. Of course, I got the Eagles. I am going to put the Giants in there, and it doesn't make a ton of sense that I would sell the Patriots and buy the Giants. I get it. But the Giants are winning games against what we think are pretty good teams. Defense looks pretty good. Saquon's running the ball well. Do I love Daniel Jones in January? I do not. But they're 5-1, so it feels like if they can just play 500 ball the rest of the way, they're going to be in a reasonable spot to make a push in the postseason. I am going to take the Cowboys as well, so I've got 3 teams from the NFC East. Taylor Sharp pumping his fist over there. So I got Eagles, Giants, and Cowboys. I like the Vikings, and I will take the Packers. They look terrible. They look awful, but it's the North. They always win it. Rodgers is good. Whatever. I'm not there yet 6 weeks through the season, so I'll take them. Whew, the South, y'all. I'm not taking Atlanta, I'll tell you that for sure, even though they're 3-3.
Arthur's crushing Bud Lights. Come on, give him a chance.
I will briefly allow the Bucks. I can't buy the Saints. I just there's too many issues. I got injuries everywhere. I got quarterback issues. I got a defense that's looking older. I would love to, and I do stand by the fact that I don't think it's over for them in terms of maybe finding a way into the playoffs because you're one game out of the division. We're talking about winning the Super Bowl here. I can't go there. And then out west, I will take the Niners and the Rams, even though I don't love the way that either one is trending at the moment.
Yeah. NFC, man, I have to agree with you. You said it before the year. I'm like, no, don't count anyone out. Who knows? It's not been a great year for the NFC, but I'll run through these teams. So I'll start with the South. I agree with you. I just think I believe in the Bucs. That's it. Getting that offensive line healthy, I think is going to be huge for them. Obviously, getting that full receiving step back and getting playoff Lenny going a little bit, I think that will help that team out a ton. No, Tom has a lot on his mind right now, but that's the last guy I'll bet against, especially when you're still in first place in the division and you just played absolutely terrible.
Do you think there's anything to the Bucs getting irritated that he keeps yelling at everybody? I know it's not like it's a brand new thing for him, but like he's doing this week in and week out, and it seems to be making a lot of noise.
Yeah, I think as a former professional athlete, everything is kind of fine. It's water off a duck's back when you're winning games and everyone's fine. You're winning. Everyone's about to get paid in the offseason. Everything's great. But when you're losing and then you kind of already know what you're doing wrong and what the team needs to do, then you got a guy yelling down your throat every chance he gets. It can kill the morale a little bit. But I think Tom has enough skins on the wall and everyone kind of knows his competitive nature and that he's just out there and he wants to win, that you kind of let it roll a little bit. But I'll tell you right now, if you're, no offense, if you're Andy Dalton or if you're one of these other guys doing that, it's not going to fly for very long. So I think if anyone, Tom can kind of gain that favor with where he can kind of do what he wants and he can take the night off on Saturday and night off on Friday, go to a wedding here and show up for the game Sunday. Like, guy does it on an 11-day vacation. Like, let that guy do what he wants. Like, just do what he wants.
Wednesdays off?
Yeah, just let that guy do what he wants. So, yeah, I think for Tom, he's kind of gained that. But, yeah, I think for the Bucs, a lot of question marks, but it's the NFC South, so I can't rule them out. We go to the North. I'm gonna stick with this discount double check, State Farm, Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers rate.
Yeah, Rodgers rate. I'll stick with him for now. Things aren't looking great for him, but I'll stick with him. And Captain Kirk, man, he's been playing
4 in a row.
Yeah, he's been playing some great football this year. My boy Jets just carrying the load up there. So yeah, I got to keep the Vikings in there in the North.
How about the Bears?
No. No Bears, no Lions, and no Dan Campbell's, biting earlobes off and kneecaps and whatever the heck else they're doing. But no Lions for me. So I'll go to the East. Unfortunately for Taylor Sharp, I'm going to keep the Cowboys in it. Cowboys are going to keep them in it. They're getting Dak attack back. So let's see if Dak can kind of, uplift this team a little bit. Cooper Rush 3 picks last week. So let's see if Dak can kind of pick it up. And obviously, you got to throw the Giants and Eagles in there. I don't think anyone really predicted them to have the level of dominance they've had this season. But anytime you start an NFL season in the fashion they have, you definitely have to tip your cap to that. It's very hard to win week in and week out, and they've just done a ton of that. And then the West, I'm throw the Rams. I'm going to be locking key with you. I'll throw the Rams and Niners in there. Neither one of those teams who represent the NFC and the NFC Championship last year, not playing great ball right now. But I think anytime you got a chance to win that division and kind of get rolling towards the playoffs, you got to respect that. But I can't go with Geno or Kyler and Cliff Kingsbury. Gotta leave them out of it.
Congratulations to Lenny Dubuisson of Ponchatoula. Lenny won Week 7 of the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em Contest. He wins $50 to Twin Peaks. Don't forget, make your picks for Week 8 by 5 p.m. tomorrow. That is, of course, Thursday. Play the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em today at 1045ESPN.com. And we will come back, and we will do a little bit of LSU basketball predicted order of finish in the Southeastern Conference, as well as some all-conference players. Tigers do have one man selected to the second-team All-SEC list. We will tell you who that is next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
One Bath and Closets. The website is onebathandclosets.com. If you're looking just to better organize your closet, or you just need more closet space because you've outgrown what you got, too many shoes on the ground, too many suits stuffed into the corner, One Bath and Closets is your stop for your help. David Duvall, been in the business for 3 decades. OneBathAndClosets.com is where you can go. They'll start the process with a questionnaire. What do you got? What do you want? And once we've established a goal here, we can move forward. That may be building you an entirely new closet and creating some more space for you, or you've got the space, you just don't know how to use it, and David and his crew can come in and make that work for you. If you tell David and his crew that Hunt and Hill sent you, 30% off your closet remodel. That is 30% off. You don't have to move to enjoy your living space. You may just not be doing it quite right at your current residence. And let me tell you this, if One Bath and Closets comes and does your project, they're not coming back 3 weeks later because they cut some corners and they got to fix a bunch of stuff that's falling apart. Not a chance. At One Bath and Closets, they'll do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. One Bath and Closets is your stop. OneBathAndClosets.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
As a community bank, B1 Bank invests in relationships with the people and businesses we proudly represent. Our B1 bankers are here to help simplify the complicated, understand your needs, and make managing your finances easier. At B1 Bank, we offer an array of solutions to help simplify your transaction needs. B1 Bank, one highly personal banking experience. Visit us online at b1bank.com for more information.
There it is, the extra mile.
on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've got that blue sky. I've got that sunshine.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money.
Me, Jimmy on for the Wednesday evening edition of Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers. We're live at City Slice Pints and Pizza on Chime Street, just outside the north gates of LSU. Getting you ready for Ole Miss and LSU Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers, 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Just got a question in the Bayou Ford chat. Talking a little basketball. It's from Dwayne. He says, do you think the men's basketball team has the size to compete this year? Well, Dwayne, in fact, I think they do have some size. KJ Williams is a conference player of the year from Murray State, who is 6'10", 250. Derek Fountain has played in the Southeastern Conference. He is 6'10", 225. Played a couple of years at Mississippi State. Kendall Coleman is a junior. He's 6'8", 230. And then you factor in Jalen Reed, who is a highly thought of 5-star freshman who is 6'10", 230. Tyrell Ward is 6'6", 185 and can play. And then I'm not even mentioning Sean Phillips, who's a freshman who's 7 feet tall, or Cornelius Williams, who's 6'9", 210. I don't know that either one of those guys factors in very much on this team, but they got plenty of guys that are real tall. So I think they'll be okay size-wise. And Southeastern Conference had its men's basketball media days today over in Birmingham, and the media picked its all-conference teams as well as predicted order of finish. And LSU did have a second-team All-SEC member. KJ Williams was picked to the second team, and LSU, according to the media, picked 8th to finish in the Southeastern Conference, which I think is probably fairly correct. I mean, like, reasonable to expect LSU to be right in the middle. There's not a huge difference between 5 and 10. Mm-hmm. They're all going to be separated by 2 games. I don't think LSU's 13 or 14. I don't think they're 1 or 2. I think they're right there in the middle of the pack, and that's exactly where they have them at 8.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of roster turnover and a lot of guys who really haven't played for the Tigers much basketball, and I think getting your point guard back's got to go a huge way in that. But I'm excited for this team. I think you kind of saw, Coach Wade's kind of lack of the roster depth as far as size goes. I think, like you just said, that they fixed that, seems like overnight with some of the size you can provide in some of these lineups. And then I do also like the guard play. You got a lot of guys who played a lot of college basketball. So I'm excited. Normally, we're going to always talk about it, dark cloud over the season. Like, are we going to get some postseason ball? Are we not? Like,
we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. But I think anytime you're finishing or projected to finish 8th in the SEC, especially, coming off this roster has just totally been revamped, it could be a lot worse going into it.
Look at the projected all-SEC teams. As far as the first team goes, some big-time names that you will certainly recognize. Santiago Vescovi from Tennessee, Xavier Wheeler, the point guard from Kentucky, Oscar Tshiebwe, who's the preseason player of the year, comes back averaging about 86 rebounds per game. Colin Castleton, who drove LSU nuts last year in Gainesville, the 7-footer from Florida, is back for his 5th year of college basketball. So those guys, you well know, they're all seniors returning. And then Nick Smith from Arkansas, who is a 5-star freshman, who is a projected lottery pick in next year's draft. Eric Musselman's got a squad up there, y'all. He is part of it. The second team, Brandon Miller, big-time freshman for Nate Oates over there at Alabama. Javon Quinterly, who was certainly part of that backcourt last year. Josiah Jordan-James and Zakai Ziegler, part of Tennessee's backcourt. Those two and Vescovi make a pretty stout squad there. And I mentioned KJ Williams. Projected order of finish from the media. Kentucky won, kind of a default pick. You got Wheeler and you certainly got Tshiebwe, and you think that team's going to be pretty good. Arkansas picked second. They have got a ton of talent coming in there. Tennessee third. Mentioned those guys. Tennessee also has former 5-star that was committed to LSU playing over there. Speaking of 5-stars committed to LSU, Auburn's got one as well. They are picked number 4. Bama 5, A&M 6. That's going to be interesting because A&M brought in 2 transfers with that crew that made that late run at the end of last year. They were not very good all year, and then they got hot the last 3 weeks. So we'll see what they are. Florida at 7, new head coach down there. Ole Miss is at 9 after LSU, then Mississippi State, Missouri at 11, Vanderbilt and Coach Stackhouse at 12, and then Georgia at 13 and South Carolina at 14. It'll be Mike White's first year at Georgia and South Carolina. Starting over after letting Frank Martin go, they are number 14.
Wow, so you're telling me Georgia's not a little higher, man? Just great Georgia basketball, just the best basketball.
That job should be better. Atlanta puts out so many good players.
Yeah,
and you can't get in. They're never any good. They got KCP to go there, and like every once in a while they've got a 5-star Anthony Edwards, but they just never. They're never any good.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't imagine that, and especially for a program like Georgia. But yeah, I think for me, Vanderbilt taking that huge step back. I know they lost Scottie Pippen Jr., but I thought Stackhouse would. That's why you play the games. I'll be see what kind of pulse they have when this SEC basketball schedule looks like. But yeah, I think my Tigers entrenched in the middle. It could be a lot worse. I'm happy to kind of see them having a little pulse.
Kevin Stallings actually got it going at Vandy a little bit. They had some really good teams. They won the SEC tournament Anthony Davis's year, and were really good that year. I actually picked them to go to the Final Four that year because they had really every piece you could want, and they fizzled in the NCAA tournament. But you can win at Vanderbilt. It's not like football where you've got to get 60 really good players. You got to get 6.
Yeah.
And if you can find 6 guys that want to live in Nashville, play in the SEC, get a great education, and play for a guy who is Jerry Stackhouse, like I would think you could get that there, but they haven't quite gotten there. Doesn't mean they won't this year, but they haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, no, they definitely haven't. But I think last year, probably they could have done a little better, especially when you kind of look at the guards that they had last year. But yeah, I'm gonna see what Stackhouse can do this year. I'm really curious about that arena. I've never been there before, but seeing the benches behind the goal, like I don't know
what
raised. It's just so weird. But hey, Vandy's good at Vandy, right?
We'll see. I'm excited for basketball season this year. The SEC is really good again. I was talking to Matt McMahon about this when I chatted with him for the pregame show a few weeks ago. It was actually, I guess that would have been for I guess it was the Tennessee game. I guess it was the Tennessee game. Yeah, it was. And I was just like, what do you think of the SEC? You were on the outside, now you're in. He's like, dude, I mean, it's just got a bunch of Hall of Fame coaches, and if you look at the draft picks out of the NBA the last 2 years, the SEC's got more than anybody. It's just the level of coach and player in this league has gone through the roof. It was a joke. I mean, I bring this up almost every year when it comes tournament time. In 2009, LSU won the SEC outright and got an 8 seed. I mean, that was the respect level this conference had. And so now you look up and you got Auburn making a Final Four and Kentucky perennially being great, and Arkansas's making 2 Elite Eights in a row, and if you feel like Nate Oates has got a really good team at Alabama, and it just there's a commitment to it, and it's working. I mean, not every hire is going to work. Ben Howland is a huge name in Starkville. It doesn't work. Avery Johnson, huge name in Tuscaloosa, didn't necessarily work. But on the whole, it's a really good league, and while I pull against it all the time in football, you got to swallow your pride in November and December and hope the league carries the water and they win some games so that you look better come Selection Sunday.
Yeah, I can't.
It hurts.
I can't even imagine thinking about the formulas we're gonna have to be doing. What's it? The RPI,
the net, the NET.
Oh my goodness,
the RPI is baseball, net for basketball.
Yeah, the net. It's just.
Well, the NCAA could show up tomorrow and say LSU your postseason ban, and we don't have to look at any of that. But
yeah,
I hope they don't.
Actually, I hope that's not the case. I'd rather deal with the net than deal with that. But yeah, it's crazy. Anytime you look at the top of the SEC, I think the top 7 teams are probably going to be ranked going into the season, and that just kind of shows you the depth of this conference. And seeing Alabama just make that leap in basketball is just so weird to me. Like I'm just used to them not having any sort of pulse, and now they're just taking in all these 4- and 5-star recruits. But yeah, the SEC stack, man, it's gonna be great basketball again this year.
It happens every once in a while. It stinks when the LSU basketball program really hits the skids. And December and January, you just sit there and there's no football, and baseball's on the horizon, but you're not there yet. And it's the doldrums. And I feared so much when they fired Wade and the notice of allegations came, and I was like, this is going to be the worst December and January. That's going to suck so bad. They're going to get beat by 30 every night. It's not even going to be worth watching. And all of a sudden, you look up, and Matt McMahon's whipped together this roster, and they're picked right in the middle of the league, and they should be very competitive night in and night out. And, I'm going to follow these guys all the way to the end, and I hope they do great. But there's a part of me that's just, get me to the middle of February. We'll be all right. But that's not fair. I realize, but some of you are wired like I am, and that happens every once in a while. Look, this is the guy who started an LSU basketball podcast and really loves the program and follows the program. But I'm so excited for February that it's hard for me to get off that one track.
Yeah, no, I think we're all super excited for baseball. I wish we could just talk about it every single day, but don't want to lose any listeners if we just kill you guys with baseball. But I think for this basketball
Tuesdays.
team, yeah, definitely Tuesdays. But I think you got another great start to the season, kind of like you had last year. It's not like you're playing any world beaters, so you should be able to kind of find that chemistry again this year and kind of figure out your rotation, what guys you're going to be dependent on going to the season. And then the fun stuff starts when we start SEC play.
Mind you to check out dropbiscuit.com, browse our growing library. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to Pops, Fame, You Talking to Me, For the People, Well Stated, or whatever Southern flavored audio biscuit you may fancy. That is dropbiscuit.com, our podcast library over here at Guarantee. All right, huge weekend in the Southeastern Conference. LSU goes to the Swamp, gets a really nice win. You look up in Mississippi State, falls flat in Lexington. You look up and, oh my goodness, what happened in Knoxville? SEC Power Rankings going to be shaken up a little bit this week. Took me a while to get through mine as I tried to pour through some stats and give you exactly what I thought. Jeremy has done the exact same thing. So we'll come back. We'll give you our weekly SEC Power Rankings. It's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
LWCC is Louisiana loyal. They are elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana. October's champion of Louisiana is Fresh Junkie Racing.
Yeah, Fresh Junkie Racing is a group of racing enthusiasts that have taken their love of running and built a business providing citizens from across the state a way to get moving and stay moving. Created by athletes for athletes, Fresh Junkie Racing hosts world-class road racing events and triathlons right here in Louisiana, welcoming crowds from across the globe to experience this place we call home.
If you want to check out an opportunity to run with Fresh Junkie Racing, we got them for you here in about 5 weeks. Baton Rouge Turkey Trot and the Tammany Turkey Trot both take place on Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, November the 24th, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. The one in Baton Rouge is on Convention Street. The one over in St. Tammany is over in Covington on North Columbia Street. If you want to run on Thanksgiving morning, work that appetite up, you can do it with Fresh Junkie Racing. They do 18 events every single year, including the Louisiana Marathon, which nets $5.2 million in economic impact on our great state. Fresh Junkie Racing, keeping people fit and healthy and also booming the economy. That's why they are a champion of Louisiana. If you know a champion of Louisiana, nonprofit, whether it's a person or a business doing awesome stuff in our great state, go to lwcc.com/Louisiana Loyal. Nominate them to be a champion of Louisiana. LWCC is Louisiana Loyal.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm JD PicKell. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdcody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111.
On Thursday's OTB. How did the Pels fare in their trip to Brooklyn? Also, we'll continue to break down LSU Ole Miss. Plus, get you ready for a little Saints Cardinals off the bench. 1045 ESPN.
This is Hunt and Hill on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This usually takes me getting my power rankings ready about 15, 18 minutes. Kind of run through, make sure they're all there, find a stat that kind of backs up what I'm thinking. Today took me over half an hour. It is so jumbled in the middle of this thing that it is very difficult. So I'll let you start with your top four. And we will move from there. We'll see if there's a little shakeup at the top. Is there?
For me?
Yeah.
No. I got the same team from last week at the top.
Fire away.
Alrighty, here. So for my top team, I had to go with the hooker man himself, the hype train. Tennessee, man. That's the best win on the board all season. I want another school to tell me a better win. Is it we beat Oregon week 1? No. Tennessee beat the Dragon. They took down the Dragon. They just filled that Knoxville arrow with the most cigar smoke I've ever seen in my life. So, yeah, I got to have Tennessee up at 1. I'm going to keep Georgia at 2. I think, they're the meat of their schedule. Those big-time wins that they got to get are coming up down right up their alley right now. And they get that Tennessee win, the world's going to open for them just to walk right into that SEC championship. And Stetson's been playing well this year, and I think they obviously have the best tight end in all of college football. So got Georgia at 2. Wanted to knock them down because I was just so sick of them, but guess I got to keep them here. I got Alabama at 3. I wanted to, but I just didn't do it. I got Alabama at 3, but there's a lot of chinks in that armor. I can't remember Alabama defense just playing this bad ever. I know that's a gauntlet you went against last week, but 52 points with getting turnovers, that's not very good. And so they're going to have to figure a lot of stuff out in that secondary. And I think Will Anderson's taking a huge step back based off on how he was playing last year. So they got a lot of stuff to figure out in the defense. 4, got my man Lane Train, Train, undefeated Ole Miss right now. That rushing attack, look, they're probably, you can make a case they're the best rushing attack in the country with those 2 backs, Judkins and Evans, and Lane's drawing it up with the best of them. And you know that running attack's coming right at you, but it's very, very difficult to deal with when you got Lane switching it up the way he does. So, yeah, that's my top 4, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, then Ole Miss.
I thought you might have LSU at the top. Went to the swamp and won. Sometimes you get those knee-jerk reactions going.
Close.
I also have Tennessee as my number 1 team. It's the quarterback's incredible, and their run defense has been very, very good. It's second in the SEC. Now, I realize some teams have gotten behind on them, felt like they had to catch up, but I think Tennessee's got the best team right now just because of the way the quarterback is playing. Do they have as many NFL guys as Georgia? Maybe not. Maybe not Alabama either. But the guy that's catching the snaps is real good. So I will take them at number 1. I will take Georgia at number 2. We'll see. They'll play this game in Athens in a couple of weeks, and Georgia will have a chance to flex its muscles and show that it was sleepwalking for a month there. But I'll take Georgia at 2. I've got Alabama at 3. Listen to these 2 statistics on Alabama that are jarring to me for a Nick Saban team. They are 12th in the 14-team SEC in turnover margin, -5 for the year. You think that's bad? They are dead last in the nation, not the conference, the nation in penalties committed. Now, they haven't had their bye yet, so they're actually 3rd to last in penalties per game. But they are dead last in the nation in penalties committed. That is frightening, especially when you pair it with the turnovers. And I also have Ole Miss at 4, so we are in lockstep there. Ole Miss is 3rd in the nation in rushing behind Army and Air Force, who exclusively run the ball. So the Rebs are running it quite well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we are right there together.
Now order has returned.
To me, 4 through 10 is an absolute crapshoot. Crapshoot.
It is. But, if you know me, you know who's number 5. Like, order's returned to the SEC. We
Go to the
control our
swamp and win.
destiny. Got JD 5 running the show, baby.
Your boy.
The Fighting Tigers right here at 5. Who would have thought? Who would have thought after that bad Tennessee loss? But, yeah, I thought, like you said, looking at 5 through 10, not much to really write home about. But I think after that big-time offensive explosion from my Tigers, and a lot of them, like 247 has them at 5 as well, so I can't be too crazy here. So, yeah, I got my Tigers right here at 5. 6, I got Kentucky. Getting Levis back was just huge for them. I don't think they win against that bad Mississippi State offense. We know what that air raid is capable of doing, and we know what it's not capable of doing from week to week. But I thought, Levis made the throws that he needed to make, and getting Rodriguez back and feeding him, I think it worked dividends for that Kentucky offense. So I got them at 6, 7. I got Mississippi State. Like you said, you gave the exact blueprint of this Mississippi State program. They're going to be a world beater one Saturday, and then the next Saturday they just might not even show up to the game, and you don't know what team you're watching. And so I think that's what you're kind of getting with Mississippi State. Even with Rodgers, running the show like he has this year, that was just not the Will Rogers that, kind of the Death Valley version of which Will Rogers we saw last week. 8, I got Arkansas. I think getting KJ Jefferson's back in that lineup. He's kind of looking like last year's KJ. He had a big-time performance. I know it was just against BYU, but that was a big-time performance, and I think they have the best running back in the SEC in Sanders. He's just running the life out of the football, and he's very, very difficult to deal with from Saturday to Saturday. So my 5 through 8, I got LSU at 5, Kentucky 6, Mississippi State, and then Arkansas at 8.
So for me at 5, I've got Kentucky. I'm going to give them a small pass for not having Levis in that South Carolina game a couple of weeks ago. I did like Rodriguez running for 200 yards. It's went down to the swamp, got a win. We'll see what they look like when they play Tennessee here coming up, and we'll see what they look like when they play Georgia. And maybe it's the lack of competition that has them up there, but I still think that's a solid football team. It's been pretty good outside of not having their quarterback for one game. Mississippi State took a step back last week, losing to Kentucky. You mentioned the offense. They get a trip to Tuscaloosa this week, but I do think they've been fairly consistent. They didn't play great in the second half against LSU, didn't play great against Kentucky either, but they don't play great. They just play pretty solid almost all the time. So I'll trust that more than some of the teams that I think have been way more up and down than them here. So Mississippi State, I've got them at 6. I got LSU at 7. We know about the Tigers. Really good performance. You go out there and beat Ole Miss by 10, 14 points. You'll move up significantly next week because that's 2 good ones in a row. But let me see 2 good ones in a row, quite frankly. I got Arkansas at 8. They are the 13th ranked scoring defense in the Southeastern Conference. That is not something I thought I was going to say about this Barry Odom defense. They do lead the SEC in sacks, however, and they're second in rushing offense. You mentioned Sanders, and you mentioned getting Jefferson back. He looked healthy and good against BYU, so maybe there's more in the tank here for Arkansas, but I've got them at 8. So Kentucky 5, Mississippi State 6, LSU 7, Arkansas 8.
No, this is where if you like to get your retinas burned, you watch these last 5 teams on again if it's Saturday, because there's just not much great football that I'm about to list off right here. But 9 just goes to show you they just gave up 45 points at home. Yep. I got Florida at 9. I don't know, man. I see why people weren't pushing Napier around here. I got a lot of work to do in the swamp, Mr. Napier.
I'm not sure why their defense is that bad, quite frankly. They can't be that bad on personnel. It can't be.
They got their coordinator fired last year, and then it's not like they went and just plucked 5 stars from Ohio State and Bama and everywhere this year. So it's a lot of turnover that they have to do, and that secondary is not very good. So, yeah, I got Florida at 9. Just goes to show you what's going to come next. Had to bump A&M up a little bit. Didn't want to.
Jeremy loves the Aggies.
10 for the Aggies. And then you got Haynes a little banged up. I don't know if things are going to be looking too good.
Connor Wegman.
Oh, goodness. The freshman. Ooh, it's not going to be looking. Who's he throwing to? That's the question. It's just not much.
Not Anaya Smith.
Yeah, it's not looking
Evan
great.
Stewart. Stu.
Yeah, the freshman. Yeah. Depend on that guy. But, I got Texas A&M at 10. I love it, though. Jimbo, keep calling plays. I love the way you call those plays. 11 got South Carolina. They got that little win against Kentucky. Only reason why they're not lower here. But, man, look at the play of Spencer Rattler this year.
The stats are terrible. Just awful.
That's not high.
His stats weren't that bad at Oklahoma when he got benched. Williams just took the job from him. His stats are bad at South Carolina.
Yeah, that's just bad, man. And, it makes you really marvel at kind of what JD 5 has done this year when you're not turning it over. Rattler's the exact opposite. He's a turnover waiting to happen on any given snap, and that's just the worst way to try to help your team win a football game. So I got South Carolina at 11-12. Got Mizzou, my man Drinkwitz, man. I love Eli, man. He's just a great guy, but he just can't win a football game to save his life on Saturday. So I got Missouri at 12-13. Got the Plains, man. Those Auburn fighting War Eagle Tigers. How many mascots I lost count, but not very good. This is just a bad football team, and Ashford just – He's not really a great passer with football, elite athlete, but just can't pass it well enough. And it's just crazy to see that they haven't really given the ball more to Bigsby. He showed how special he was last Saturday. I think if they want to have any sort of pulse going forward, they need to give him 30 carries a game. And yeah, I got them. And should we go 14 this week? I mean, we kind of skipped it last week.
Give a 14. I got some things to talk about with my 14 pick this week.
Okay, well, I'll just say it in 2 words: the Doors. Here you go.
Doors 14. All right, I'll start with 9. I've got Texas A&M at 9. They've got the 13th ranked run defense in the Southeastern Conference. I did not expect that either. They should have more talent up front than that. They should be able to stop the run. They haven't. Quarterbacks issues are aplenty, so we'll see what they've got coming up this week. And I'm already kind of peering that way to that game after Thanksgiving for us. We've got to find a way to win that game. And I've got A&M at 9. I've got Florida at 10. They can't stop a nosebleed. It's awful. It was worse last week than I could have thought. I just didn't see LSU going in there and doing that. I don't think anybody did, but it was evident that they can't do anything in terms of stopping you. Richardson is what he is, and he can make some jaw-dropping plays, but they're still limited offense as well. So got them at 10. I got South Carolina at 11. Nice win against Kentucky with no quarterback. Other than that, you're just the best of the worst is what I'm going to go ahead and term them. Missouri, 11th in the SEC in total defense, but 4th in total D. No, wait, but 11th in the SEC in total offense, 4th in total defense. Just don't lose to Vanderbilt this week. That's really your only task here, Missouri, is to beat Vanderbilt, and you'll hold position. If you lose that game, could have some problems. Auburn is 13th. They've lost 4 of 5. They're going into their bye, which I thought would have been a good time to let go of Brian Harsin to kind of reset and regroup. They've got athletic director issues. They don't have one yet, and I think they just want to get someone in place for this transition. So they're holding on. They're sending Brian Carson to Mobile, speak to the quarterback club earlier this week, and he's doing interviews on the teleconference and all that jazz. And everyone's sitting here going, yeah, we already know what's going to happen, but I've got Auburn at 13. They are real trouble. Jeremy, what were you doing on this day, October the 19th of 2019? I'll tell you.
I'm sure it wasn't in Tuscaloosa.
The Fighting Tigers of LSU were in Starkville, Mississippi. They were winning a kind of a sleepy early game, 36-13 en route to the national championship. But it was midway through the national championship season for LSU, October the 19th, 3 years ago. I'll tell you, you probably weren't in Nashville either, but Derek Mason was, and Vanderbilt had just beaten Missouri. And this is what he had to say post-game after they beat Missouri.
You've answered questions about your job security all week long, and this team comes out and upsets a ranked Missouri team. What are you feeling right now?
Well, first of all, honor to God. It's been a rough patch, man, but I told my team this, and I want everybody to understand this, okay? A lot of people want this job, so they think, but I'm the man that's built for this job. Every day, man, we grind. We grind. Don't question us. Don't question who we are, what we do, or how we play. We're Vanderbilt men. Commodores anchoring down.
Okay, that was October the 19th, 3 years ago, 2019. Vanderbilt has not won a league game since then. Not one.
What about the Vanderbilt man?
Not a single one.
Wait. What about anchoring down? What about the
3
Vanderbilt
years.
man?
I'm built for this job. We're Vanderbilt men. We may not win a league game in 3 years, and I've had 2 other jobs since then. But we're anchoring down.
I figured it out. I know what they didn't do. They didn't play Tom Petty to start the fourth quarter. That's what they should have did. That's what they're missing. The Doors got to have that tradition.
Today I was looking at Vanderbilt, something to put down as a note for them on Power Rankings. Said, I wonder when the last time they won a league game was. So I looked it up, and I looked at it and said October 19th. I said, what's today? October 19th. Perfect. 3 years after he said he was built for the job. That's the kind of stuff. It's just tough for me to take some coaches seriously. I can't generally take Dan Campbell all that seriously. I can't take Derek Mason seriously. Jameis Winston's one of the guys I can't, because you say stuff like that, and it's like, what are we doing? What are we talking about?
Oh man, that dopamine was rushing through my man Derek's veins right there. Just that big time home win in front of the door. Faithful, man. Did you see that crowd, man? It was amazing. Just amazing.
Anchor down. They're 14th. That's your SEC Power Rankings. We'll come back and close it out next on Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit.
We get it done with passion for our fans
and love for our community.
We are the Tigers.
Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100.
NFL is back. Our coverage starts Sunday at 10 a.m. with Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday with Jimmy Ott, immediately followed by the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts at noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Closing up shop here. It is a Thursday edition of Hunt and Hill. It's not Thursday, it's Wednesday. I was thinking about Thursday's show because I just did the promo. I wish it was Thursday, not Thursday. So I apologize for you thinking it's Thursday because I said it's Thursday. It's not Thursday, it's Wednesday.
There you go.
So that's all clarified now. Let's close up a Wednesday edition with some Take It or Leave It.
Alrighty, here. NFL owners, they voted 31-1 on Tuesday to permit their compensation committee to open negotiations with a new contract with Commissioner Roger Goodell, with Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft getting into a bit of a verbal altercation with Jerry Jones saying, "Don't F with me" to end it. Are you taking or leaving? NFL fans tuning in to a showdown with Jones and Kraft.
Guess better than Robert Kraft videos from the salon. Is that okay to say? Kids are maybe getting in the car. I don't think anybody needs to see that. No, I think Jerry Jones might have a point though. They don't need to give Roger Goodell his bonuses beforehand. Before he does anything, let's give him a bonus. Sounds like good work structure. I'd like that compensation. Pay me for work I haven't done yet. That's very exciting. No, but I don't think anybody wants to see those two throw down. After going down 1-2 in the ALDS against Cleveland, the Yankees did go ahead and win it with 2 big home runs in Game 5 from Judge and Giancarlo. Yankees will beat the Astros and make the World Series. Take it or leave it.
I'm hammering this. I'll take it. Can you spam? I'll take it right now. Yeah, it's time, man. I had to listen to cans being beat on, just beating my eardrums to peace watching Astros baseball. Like, it's just filthy what's going on in Houston. And now we get an even, fair matchup. My boy Garrett's still and my boy Nestor's still and the bats are hot. It's time, baby. It's time. Here we go, Yankees.
I got one small problem with the Yankees.
All right,
we're hammering champagne. We're crushing Bud Lights last night after the series win. Then we're flying overnight to play Verlander with a hangover. Seems iffy. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Look, it's just game one. We got time, baby. We got time. No trash cans.
Donate that one?
Yeah, no. Look, Van Otter's a tough deal. You lose that one, that's no big deal. We'll get Garrett in game 2, and then we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
All righty here. Oh, you'll like this one. Nebraska AD, Trev Roberts. He laid out the term for Scott Frost's contract extension with him, saying the only requirements were be 6-6 and appear in a bowl game, and it will raise his contract back to $5 million per season and be retained for the next season. Are you taking or leaving? The AD may have set the bar a little too high for Nebraska football.
Let me tell you this. You could either get that contract raised up to $5 million, or you could just get the $16.4 million buyout lump sum. It's like the lottery. You got the annuities, or you can just take the lump sum. Scott Frost, choke the first couple of games of the season away, catch the $16.4 million, go play golf. Maybe it's checkers, not chess. Chess, not checkers. Whatever the saying may be. Yeah, it would have been nice to get that $5 million a year contract, but we'll just take the 16.5. We'll be so bad so early, you won't even wait the 2 weeks to cut the buyout in half. You just got to get done, and that's what we'll do. So that's an impressive effort by Scott Frost. Bill Barnwell of ESPN.com picked 4 teams in the NFC who are in big trouble this year. Tampa Bay Bucks were one of those. They can't convert on third down, can't run the football, and it's plaguing their offense. The Bucks may not make the playoffs. Take it or leave it.
I guess I'll have to take that.
I'll take it.
If things keep going in this
Somebody from the South's got to make it.
Yeah, someone has to make it. But if things keep going this way with the 40, you may be on some 45-year-old quarterback not playing great football right now. A lot of stuff going outside the house.
To be fair, I did not forecast divorce in the season. I forecasted maybe some issues on the offensive line. I didn't know that the empire would come crumbling down.
Look, man, we're throwing tablets, we're cursing out refs. It's just a lot of stuff going on right now in Tampa Bay. So, look, they better change things around real quick because things can definitely go the other way, and I'm sure that's great news for Saints fans. So, yeah, I'm not too high on the Bucs right now. We'll see how it plays out, though.
All right, big show tomorrow coming at you. We will go out to Arizona and chat with Luke Johnson as we do on every Thursday. He's out there covering Saints and Cardinals, so he'll be with us tomorrow. Nick Suss of the Jackson Clarion Ledger covers Ole Miss. He will preview the Rebels with us tomorrow. And, of course, we always have our best win and worst loss on the college football and NFL Ledger. Those will be coming at you on tomorrow's show. Missed anything today? Catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com, Apple Podcasts, or on Spotify or YouTube. JD PicKell was with us talking college football in hour 1, as was David Grubb talking Pels. So big show today. Catch it on demand. Jimmy Ott's Game Time, 6 to 8 this evening. And Matt Moscone about to drive you home on After Further Review. Have a great Wednesday, everybody. We are back tomorrow with a Thursday edition of Hunt and Hill.
There it is, the extra mile.